আচ্ছা, ওনারা ওই ওলেমায় যাচ্ছেন না এখন?
না, অলিমার যে অলিমার বড় ফাংশন হবে সোমবারে,
আচ্ছা,
আমি রবিবারে যাব বিকেল। একজন চাইনিজ বুদ্ধিস্ট ফিলসফার, তাকে একজন মেইন স্পিকার আউটসাইড দি বেদান্ত ফোল্ড সাধারণত ডাকে ওরা
ওলেমাতে।
এই ফাংশনকে। একজন চাইনিজ, তিনি ইংরেজি জানেন না।
আচ্ছা,
কিন্তু হি রানস এ গ্রুপ অফ 600 বুদ্ধিস্ট।
কোন দেশে?
এইখানে
আচ্ছা,
এখানে প্রায় 12-14 বছর আছেন।
this is an insert about the Vedanta Society of Southern California, which was started by Swami Prabhavananda in 1930. The Vedanta Society at Southern California is located on a hill in Hollywood overlooking the Hollywood Freeway. The society is at 1946 Vedanta Place and maintains a monastery in Trabuco, Orange County, and a convent in Santa Barbara. The Hollywood Center has an active bookshop and a press. Everything from incense sticks to Nataraja icons to S.N. Dasgupta's Indian philosophy books are sold here. A lot of the sales are by mail or by phone. During my first visit to this center in February 81, after I had lunch in the monks' dining room, I was amazed when an old American monk grabbed my plate and went on to wash it. That would be unthinkable in India. Here is a monk, not the same one that served me, but the Vedanta Society Hollywood gets ready for celebrating its 50th anniversary in May 1990.
Very possible.
Go ahead and move it down, sweetie. Move down there. Go move the tables down. You got it.
The flowers are plucked right in the society's garden. Our flower lady was posing for some more pictures, but the old nun came along and wanted her to help her in setting up the tables. On the 60th anniversary celebration, the devotees line up for their lunch after the lecture. The food is slightly spicy to the American palate and bland to the Indian palate. There is a visiting Swami from Boston, Sarvagatananda, and the devotees are enjoying this lunch on the 60th anniversary. We shall return to Hollywood again near the end of this movie, but now we shall go back, walk with Swami Shraddhananda in Sacramento.
5 varieties of grapes, 5 or 7.
They actually grow here?
Of course, we have plenty of grapes. We can our bhaktas and neighbors.
Yeah, this is grape country. Napa Valley is not
yes,
too far.
Yes, yes. This we call the Garden of Saints, Santodhyan.
5%.
Here this was a stone incinerator, but then burning anything was prohibited by the county. So he converted this into this pillar. Yeah. This is from Rig Veda. On each side there is a saying. This is from Vivekananda. The idea of the harmony of religion. This is Buddha's saying. The wheel of Dharma. This is
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. And there was a flag here. The flag has been stolen.
I see.
That flag, this is the explanation of the flag in Swamiji's words.
Yeah, that's the emblem of the
Yes.
Ramakrishna order.
That was there. Unfortunately, that is stolen.
There is a Sanskrit word also in the emblem calling Tanno Hangsa Prachodayat.
Tanno Hangsa
What does
Prachodayat.
it mean?
Tanno Hangsa means the Supreme Self. Hangsa.
The
Hangsa.
Supreme Self.
Yes. Tanno. No means to us. May that Supreme Self Prachodayat enlighten our hearts. Tanno Hangsa Prachodayat. That Paramatman enlighten our hearts.
Total
8 acres.
8 acres.
These are lotuses are beginning to bloom. One lotus bloomed yesterday, but after 12 o'clock they close up.
Oh,
In the morning, you see distant, it has closed up. In the morning it was so big. That
oh, in the nightfall they close up.
Yeah,
Probably they're sensitive to the cold.
and I do not know. And many birds are coming. So all through June, there will be lotus flowers.
This one does not have any fish, or does it?
Huh?
This pond, does it have any fish? Or no?
There used to be, I do not know where they disappeared. The fish enemies are there, big birds come and
Pick at them.
yes. You have taken a picture of St. Francis.
No. Saint Francis of Assisi. What inspired you to Ramakrishna Vivekananda in your younger days? You remember? How did
I came in touch with some young people. They used to run a group, and one of them, when I was a schoolboy, then they caught me. And I used to go to them, and then our school, our headmaster, he was a very nice man. He bought for the library.
Which
Ramakrishna.
library?
Our school, when I used to in North Bengal, Sayadpur,
I see.
Sayadpur, Rangpur district.
I see. In East Bengal,
Now it is
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh now. Yes. Rangpur district, it is North Bengal.
Yes,
You pass through that to the Darjeeling,
I see.
old days, but now they have a new route to Darjeeling.
Yes.
This is through Pakistan.
মশা বসেছে ওটা আপনার গালে ডান দিকে
Taking the Krishna's picture. This was installed in 1976. A Krishna, Radha. I have named this vine keeper Lalita,
I see.
Lalita Shakhi. And this is Vishakha,
I see.
the two Sofis of Krishna. And this pool I have named Yamuna.
I see.
And this whole area, Vrindavan. See? Creative imagination.
So this one has goldfish, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Two big goldfish. They are now these are white lilies, a different color, red, yellow, and different colors.
Jamuna. So that person was your headmaster, the one who made the library?
Yes, he bought a Ramakrishna Kathamrita.
I see.
And it was
For
very-
the library.
for school library.
I see.
So there I had access, and that was. Then I had a natural tendency towards religion
Family.
from my boyhood. So,
Your parents were also very
no,
religious?
my father was more inclined Brahma
Brahmo
Samaj.
Samaj.
In that town there was a Brahma Samaj. My father, he was not much for Hindu ritualistic Devi Puja and all.
Yeah, yeah.
But my grandmother was.
Maternal or paternal?
Father's mother. She used to do Shiva Puja every day. And he trained me.
Yes.
When she would go on some pilgrimage, he said, you come here, you have to do this. I was a little boy then, 7-year-old. And he trained me how to do Shiva Puja.
Maharaj, do you want to take some rest there or continue?
We shall sit there after. Did you go around that?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
With him, with this
No,
one?
I'm asking whether you're tired or you want to go all the way right now.
No, you have done that already.
Yeah, before. Not today.
Oh, okay, let us go. There is the Shiva.
Yes.
The Shiva image was done by a lady sculptor devotee in Hollywood. And it was stolen one night.
From here?
Yes. Because she made the mistake. She chose the material, very light material,
Oh.
fiberglass. And she put the statue with a wooden plank. And the wooden plank began to rot.
I see. So
And
it
so
became easy.
it was easy to lift it up. So,
But who will buy that?
huh? No, I think he was a bhakta of Shiva. So one Sunday lecture I announced that our Shiva has been stolen by a Shiva bhakta. And after,
So that was after I saw it in 1990 or?
yes. Then, fortunately, the lady who did this, she had saved the,
Sacha?
huh? The,
He struggles for the word mold.
the
Sacha? Sacha? Sach?
Shasta, what is the English name?
Anyway.
He saved that. And in one Sunday lecture I announced that, and 2 or 3 days after that I received an anonymous letter with a $100 check. and says, Swami, please replace the Shiva. Whether he himself stole it or not, then I wrote to that to the sculptor. Her name is Kamala. She said, I have saved
The new Shiva.
Yes, and she made this time it was all cement, and she did not make it on a wooden platform, so it is not possible to remove it. It is solid cement.
So you read the Kathamrita there in
Eh?
your school library. Do you want to walk up there or
No.
And so that was before you read Vivekananda?
No, they used to read Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, this group
Yes.
of young people. And then I was in the top classes.
Yes.
We started the students a Saturday meeting. Some students would come and we would ourselves read the Gospel Kathamrita. And there was a Vaishnava singer. He would come and Harinam Sankirtan he used to do. So in this way we
Started.
ran that institution. So I was a religious bent of mind from boyhood.
Yes.
See,
And you didn't say anything about your mother?
Mother was sympathetic.
To release.
Later on, my father and brother, mother both were initiated by Swami Shivananda Mahapurush Maharaj.
Your own
And
guru.
my sister, elder sister, and my brother-in-law, and the two elder sons, my nephews. One of the nephews have died just last year. So I brought the whole family
Ramakrishna.
to Ramakrishna. Yes, my brother, my father was a,
So your mother was also religious?
yes, but she was very austere type.
I see.
She did not care for ornaments. My father was a school teacher,
Yes,
and all over the town he was known as Master Masai.
yes. Yes. The society at Chicago was started at rented premises in 1930 by Swami Ganesharananda, who died in 1937. Between 1938 and 1965, under the guidance of Swami Vishwananda, the activities were continued and expanded. Bhashananda, who became the minister in 1965, moved the headquarters to the present location at Hyde Park Boulevard. In 1971, Bhashananda also established a monastery and retreat in Ganges Township, Fenville, Michigan. Partly because the name Ganges is holy in Hinduism, and partly because the land in the immediate Chicago area was too expensive. It was built by the hard labor of American-born monks, and a 4 lakh rupee grant from the Indian government and 75 logs of teak from the state of Madhya Pradesh, India, shipped by the Scindia Company. Their counterparts, that is, manual labor from Indian monks, or government help in the USA for religious purposes, would both be unthinkable. Swami Ranganathananda influenced the central and Madhya Pradesh governments for the grants. We now go back to Sacramento for the final part of Shraddhanandaji's interview.
A boy accompanies me, and when sadhus come, I bring the sadhus. In the summer season, there is gentle breeze. I chant from the Upanishads, and some days when I chant, a particular chapter from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is called Madhu Vidya. See, then there is breeze comes. A sort of miracle happens. When I invoke the spirit of Vayu, the spirit of the sun, the spirit of Akasha, through those mantras of the Upanishads,
Very powerful.
then there is a breeze, gentle breeze. Today there is no breeze.
So then, at the time you met Sri Mohan, how old was he?
Oh, he was pretty old. When I met Mahapurush Maharaj, he was late 70s. He died at the age of 80.
Who? Mahapurush Maharaj?
Yes. And M died in 1932, and Mahapurush Maharaj died in 1934.
And you met Abhedananda ji also.
Oh yes, I met Swami Abhedananda, Swami Saradananda, Swami Subodhananda, Swami Akhandananda, Swami Shivananda, but I did not meet Swami Brahmananda.
Yeah.
When I came to Calcutta, by that time he had gone.
He passed away before Holy Mother, isn't it?
Yes. No.
1922 or so.
No, yes, after Holy Mother.
And Holy Mother was 1920.
Yes,
Yes.
he passed away after Holy Mother. And Swami Turiyananda passed away after Swami Brahmananda.
And Turiyananda was in this country, isn't it? Turiyananda?
Yes, a short time. First in the East Coast in Boston area. Then Swamiji said, you go to California. One devotee had offered Swami Vivekananda a land, about 200 acres of land. So Swami Vivekananda wanted him to start a center in San Francisco. So Swami Turiyananda came. Then he thought it better to go to that land and there a peace retreat. All these things are printed in our books. You
Yes.
can have detailed,
Shanti Ashram?
yes, information how they came, how Swami Turiya made that adventure. You can, Swami Ritajananda, who is the head of our France,
Yes.
he has written a book on Swami Turiyananda. There you can get information.
Among the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, who were you closest to?
My guru was Swami Shivananda, like Swami Lokesharananda. Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
But were you close to him or?
Yes, I was. I enjoyed his company from student life from 1925. And I renounced in 1930, joined the mutt.
Yes.
And I was there till the end of his life. 9 years I had his company.
That's very good, very nice.
Yes. Acha, I will entertain you. I will sing a song of Krishna just at this time. An old man's song. At one time I could sing, but now it is
Difficult.
daring. But still,
Don't exert yourself.
बाजे शामेर मोहना बेनु बाजे शामेर मोहना बेनु बेनु रव सुने जुड़ालो तनु बेनु रब सुने जुड़ालो तनु बाजे समेर मोहना बेनु পঞ্চমেতে পাখি ধরিয়াছে তান, পবন দাঁড়ায়ে শুনিতেছে গান। পঞ্চমেতে পাখি ধরিয়াছে তান, পবন দাঁড়ায়ে শুনিতেছে গান। যাহার গানেতে যমুনায় উজান, হাম্বা হাম্বা রবে দায়িত ধেনু, বাজে শামের মোহন বেনু। যে বনে বাজিছে সেই বনে যাই, এছাড় জীবনে আর কাজ নাই। যে বনে বাজিছে সেই বনে যাই, এছাড় জীবনে আর কাজ নাই। পুরাই বয়স মনয় অভিলাষ, পুরাই বয়স মনয় অভিলাষ, হয়ে রব স্বামের চরণ রেণু, বাজে স্বামের মোহন বেনু, বাজে স্বামের মোহন বেনু, বাজে স্বামের মোহন বেনু।
Thank you. So, and you visited Sri Moha very often?
Yeah, don't ask me any questions. They are old stories. They will cover
Lots.
books.
I see. You have already written the Otita Sriti.
That I have written, but I have now my old diary,
Yeah.
from 1929 to 34,
Yeah.
while I was a mutt. I'm translating that now,
Very nice.
and they are being published serially in Vedanta Society.
Oh, really?
Yes, 2 issues have already been published, and third I have sent. Now the editor
In English.
in English. In English, I translate. That diary is there.
Yes.
I go on translating, and one of the devotees, he
So
takes
this,
short notes.
none of this you already published in Otita Sriti?
No,
Oh.
it is about Mahapurush Maharaj.
Oh, I see.
Otita Sriti is about other disciples stay, and mainly
Virajananda.
Virajananda. This is about Mahapurush Maharaj. Mahapurush Swami Shivananda Sriti Katha. Taken from my old diary.
You still write diary every day?
Every day I write, your name will be there. Your name will be there. But
That's very nice.
I want to find out where you said that you wrote.
That
One book, there are the addresses of Indian devotees.
actually,
visiting.
Otita Sriti is the only book about the history of the order. Very intimate stuff.
It is not a history, but storybook in connection with Swami Vivekananda. Those.
There is no other book like that, actually, isn't it?
It is, no, there is a history written by
Gombiyananda.
Gombiyananda.
But that is impersonal.
Yes, yes.
That is just facts and events. So, what made you write that book, Otita Sriti?
It was the demand of the I was the private secretary of the Swami for
Long time.
12 years. 12 years. And I used to travel with him, and he would sometimes the devotees would ask about his reminiscences of Swamiji and all. So I would, unseen by that others, I would copy that. And so those materials are there. Then his diaries, he was writing. He had that habit of writing his diary. From his diaries I got many materials. So in this way.
So he also used to keep a diary.
Oh
That's
yes,
like
yes, yes, yes. And there was a demand. Then Swami Madhavananda,
after his passing away.
yes, after his passing away,
And you were at Belur that time.
I was editor of Udbodhan.
Okay.
I was
Across the river.
Eh?
Across the river. in
Yes.
Udbodhan.
You have seen Holy Mother's house?
Yeah. Several times.
I stayed there. And there it was not possible for me to do this, but the time was drawing near of my coming to America, so I hurried and to write.
You have also translated that now into English. Right?
Yes, yes.
I've read the original only. I have it.
Bengali.
Yeah.
The English I had got a retired lady who was an art teacher, and her husband was a Nobel laureate in physics.
Oh.
And
In Berkeley?
no, which university? Then she divorced, and she offered to edit what I translate.
Okay.
She offered to edit, and she edited excellent. You see, all the credit, most credit goes to her. Our Indian English is one time. We really do not know English. And our
So
English.
you learned your good Bengali in your college days.
Oh yes, I had a great fascination for Bengali.
You were an arts major or science?
Arts. No, science. When I came to, I was a science.
Physics or chemistry?
Chemistry.
Oh, like me.
Honors.
Oh. I'm also chemist.
Hmm.
But how did you learn all the Sanskrit?
Huh?
Sanskrit?
Sanskrit I had in our school in those days. Sanskrit was compulsory
Hmm.
from class 6 onwards. So I had a great.
That is very bad with the modern education. That
Yes.
Sanskrit has been diminished.
Yes.
Because
So
I feel it right now.
I had a great love for Sanskrit and for literature, Bengali literature. Acha, we shall stop talking now.
San Francisco next. Of Vallejo and Fillmore streets in the city of San Francisco, and which is very famous for these steep streets, and this is an example of that. And there is the San Francisco Bay, and this is Fillmore Street. Started by Swami Vivekananda on April 14, 1900, the San Francisco Center was nurtured by Swami Trigunatitananda, who built the first temple of the society. It is still maintained. This is the Hindu temple, the first Hindu temple in the West by Swami Trigunatitananda in the early 1900s, and it is only a few blocks away from the current temple of the Vedanta Society of Northern California in San Francisco. The Vedanta Society of Northern California, which was established by Swami Vivekananda many years ago, but probably was not at this site, but it moved to this site in this century. Here is a notice about the services in this temple. It was expanded significantly by Swami Ashokananda, who also founded a society in Berkeley and moved to its present San Francisco temple in October 59. Is at 2323 Vallejo Street in San Francisco. This also includes a building for nuns, and this center and the Los Angeles or Hollywood Center are the only two centers in the USA which have female monastic members in addition to male monastic members, as in other branches of the Vedanta Society. Unfortunately, it is 31st May 1992, and we are in front of the Vedanta Society of St. Louis in the state of Missouri at 205 South Skinker Boulevard in St. Louis. And today is a Sunday, and there will be a talk at 10:30 by Swami Chetanananda inside this temple.
About the Vedanta movement in the West, you know we are working in this country nearly 100 years. Swamiji established Vedanta Society in New York in 1894, Vedanta Society of San Francisco in 1900. Since then, many Vedanta societies came into existence, two in New York, Providence, Boston, Chicago, St. Louis, Seattle, Portland, Sacramento, Berkeley, San Francisco, Hollywood. And now we have centers in Canada. Vedanta Society's activities, we teach Vedanta, the universal religion. And about activities, we generally don't do philanthropic activities like India, generally spiritual and cultural activities. And we have publications. Every Sunday we have lectures. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays we have classes on the Upanishads, on Ramakrishna. And we give spiritual instruction. And many American people come to us for spiritual guidance. And some centers have Sunday schools who train the young boys and girls. We have libraries. Our publications work for us. Many intellectuals know about the Vedanta movement in the West. And what else I shall say? And this Vedanta Society of St. Louis was established in 1938 by Swami Prakashananda, who died in 1979. After his death, I took the charge of the center, and we have a branch center in Kansas City also. And about Vedanta, I shall not have to say anything new. Vedanta, the main tenets of Vedanta is the divinity of human beings, universality of religion, universality of truth, harmony of religions. These are the things we generally emphasize, and how to practice Vedanta, this ancient spiritual tradition of the Hindus, and yoga to the American people.
Do you find the Americans qualified to accept or practice these teachings?
Yes, many people are interested. You will have to understand, most of the Americans are Protestant background, and they try to understand in not through worship, but through, they have more like intellectual approach, I should say. You see, we emphasize that practice religion at home. They take spiritual instruction, they make shrine in their homes. On Sundays, we do not teach only Sunday religion. Our religion is 24 hours, and day, morning and evening they practice meditation, japa. That way I can tell you. And you are asking me to speak something about Swami Prabhupada. I came to Vedanta Society of Southern California in 1971, June. and I lived with Swami Prabhupada till he died in July 1976. So 5 years I lived with him, and he was just like my father. I learned many things from him, I tell you frankly. He was a disciple of Swami Brahmananda and met many direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. He started Vedanta. He came to America in 1923, and perhaps he is the Swami longest lived in this country. He died in 1976. He started center in Portland, then in Los Angeles, and his publications, his writings are very popular all over America, and it has been translated in many languages. And Prabhupananda's life, he inspired many people, I tell you. And many intellectuals, writers, they came to him. And I am very indebted to him in many ways.
Any memories about Nikhilananda?
Nikhilananda, I met Swami Nikhilananda first in India during Swamiji's centenary time, 1963. Then I came to America and I became his guest. I remember in 1971 when I first came to New York, he invited me for lunch, and I told him, Maharaj, the whole Ramakrishna order and is indebted to you because of your translations of the Upanishad, Gita and the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And he was crying to me. I had a desire to go to Belun Math and roll on the grounds in front of Ramakrishna's temple. And I met him again in Thousand Island Park in 1972. I stayed 10 days with him.
At that time he was having some disease.
Yeah, he has some, Alzheimer's disease, and he died in 73 September. But he was very kind to me. I remember one incident. I asked him, Maharaj, will you present me a copy of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna? He gave me the Gospel.
With his signature.
Then I asked, could you give me your signature? As soon as you have come to America, you have become an American. He was very kind to me. And
He was primarily an intellectual, isn't he?
I should not say not only intellectual. I saw him at Thousand Island Park in Swamiji's room. He would repeat mantram for hours. Every afternoon, 4 o'clock, there is Vesper in Thousand Island Park. And he would sit there and repeat mantram. Oh, he was something really. This was Holy Mother's disciple. Swami Prabhupada also. The day he died, even he was telling that, bring my rosary, I shall repeat my mantram. At 9 o'clock he was telling, and 12 o'clock he died.
In the afternoon? I mean in the morning?
In the afternoon. No, in the evening, 9 o'clock, he was asking, bring my rosary, I shall repeat mantram.
So he passed out at midnight.
At midnight. So anyhow, I have many memories about all the great Swamis in this country. Prabhupada, Shat Prakashananda, Pavitrananda, Nikhilananda, Swami Vividishananda, Swami Shraddhananda. So I got some chance to meet some of the senior Swamis, and I tell you one thing, everything is not in the book. Many things you will have to learn from these old Swamis.
Holy company.
Holy company. Thank you.
Dehananda Bharati, late professor at Syracuse University, writes, quote, a Ramakrishna Vivekananda Vedanta Center in America is typically a sizable house bought by the resident Swami over many years on funds collected in Protestant church-like fashion from the congregation. The largest room is the assembly hall for the congregation, Chairs are arranged as in any Protestant church with a piano or a small electric organ in the back.
बलमसी बलम में भेद अदोसी अदोमल भेद मंजरसी मंजमल भेद सह ओम शांति शांति शांति।
Swami Swahananda chants a Vedic hymn and traces a brief history of the 60 years of the Hollywood Society. During the ministry of Swami Prabhupada, founder of the Hollywood Center, a large piece of land in Santa Barbara was donated to the society in 1944, about 90 miles northwest of Hollywood. It was dedicated as a convent in 1947. 2 years later, another branch of the Hollywood Center in Trabuco Canyon was started as a monastery in 1949. Swami Swahananda introduces the visiting Swami Sarvagatananda of Boston. Delivers an inspiring talk on the message of Sri Ramakrishna. Here.
He was not satisfied by getting one experience. He wanted to test all those deities that have been mentioned to us in Hindu thought. One by one, he was devoted, he contemplated, he realized something. Practically almost all the different approaches of Hindu thought from the point of spiritual life, he followed them all. He got some light. No. He said, what Gita proclaimed, what Buddha presented to us, what Jesus also placed in his own commandments, all these things, one by one, you can see in the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. That is
some further comments of Agyayananda Bharati on the Ramakrishna mission in the West. Every Sunday morning at 11, the Swami gives his sermon which lasts 60 minutes. It is likely to be an old-time Ramakrishna mission sermon. Ramakrishna and Vivekananda lived and preached the true Hinduism and every other religion. The stress is on bhakti, devotion, on the moral life in the Protestant sense, and on the universality of the teachings of Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda and their total applicability to all human situations. The mystical elements in the sermon are formalistic and tentative. One gets the impression that the Swamis have begun to avoid mystical talk for fear of the encroaching vices of young radical America, sex, drugs, and wild-eyed cultism. Yet it is precisely these evasions which are bringing the eclipse of the Ramakrishna mission in the West. Interviews of Hollywood devotees done by Ralph Stewart.
And why are you here?
I was born in West Africa, grew up in Texas. I'm here because of the great master. Ask more questions. Depend on the bliss of the Atman and identify with the magnitude of Brahman. Happiness, joy is in the air. Look at the faces, different colors. The sky is blue. That's it.
So what do you say?
The food was good. I don't have very much to say about it. 60 years. Let's see, I've been here 30, 40, 1950. 40 years. It's changed a lot.
Have you changed a lot?
Yes. An awful lot.
How?
And I'm sure that Vedanta had a lot to do with it. There's no question of that. Swami Vivekananda was my teacher. He gave me an insight into religion and a way of life that I probably could have gotten nowhere else. And the actual transformational aspects of religion and the practical side of practice is really kind of phenomenal, I think. So I really appreciate all that's been done for me here. And days like this make me sort of sentimental, and I feel very good about it all. Thanks.
Thank you. What can I say? I'm going to climb up now. We're all camera shy. All right. Daughter entered the monastery. You've been around a long time. What do you feel like about all this on this day?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I think it's so wonderful to have everybody be able to come and just sit down and enjoy themselves. But the thing that I notice is that the older I get, the fewer people that I know and recognize around here. But, of course, I will always recognize my good daughter, Rajagopal Chattopadhyaya. And here's another one of my daughters, Rajagopal. We're all in this together. Yeah.
Going down the raft.
What else do you want to know, Ralph?
Well, what do you think about a daughter and a son entering a convent and a monastery?
Well,
as a result of this.
The result of them entering?
How do you feel about that?
Well, I tell you, at first I was upset about it because I wasn't a Vedantin and I didn't really realize what they were getting into. But as the years have gone by, and about 20 have gone by, 20 or more, I've appreciated it more and more every year. So that now I feel really wonderful about it.
You're very shy.
She's not shy. She might say something.
Well, it's just wonderful knowing people that are such good people that are part of Vedanta, and it's true that we all do feel like part of the same family, and no matter what our backgrounds or where we have come from, it's that one main link that brings us together.
These boys who have come to the Vedanta Society are not Ramakrishna fans, but they are Ninja Turtle fans. Ninja Turtles are a variant of the Kurma avatar of the Puranas.
Hi, I'm in TV. I know Ninja Turtle. You know Ninja Turtle? Yeah, I know. Once upon a time, there was this poor turtle, pet turtle. Don't tell that story. Tell that with a woman. Okay. Once upon a time.
Let us now turn to what M.N. Roy, the foremost Indian materialistic philosopher of this century, said about the Vedanta societies as they were in 1916. He stayed as a guest of Vasanta Kumar Roy. The New York branch was situated on the ground floor of B.K. Roy's house. M.N. Roy called on Swamiji to pay his respects, and he was invited to attend the next weekly lecture. The sitting room of the flat was the lecture hall. He made it a point to attend the branches in San Francisco and Los Angeles also, and he was not very impressed by the Vedanta societies as they were in 1916. In the introduction to this book, published by the Ramakrishna Vedanta Mutt, Basukumar Bagchi, PhD, wrote in June 1945, "It is to call attention to the fact that a certain section of America was prepared to listen respectfully to Swami Vivekananda and Swami Abhedananda when they arrived here in the last decade of the 19th century." Basu, who used to reside in Ann Arbor, Michigan, continues, "The work of the two Swamis needs no justification or defense from me. It has its permanent worth. But we Indians are over-enthusiastic. Our sense of lack in some things often overcompensates in the direction of exaltation over foreign recognition. Let us not be childish and given to exaggeration. Ramakrishna Mission or Ramakrishna Vedanta Society is not based on exaggeration, and no true mission is. The dramatic phase of the Swamis in America has been over long ago, and it is in the silent phase, the phase in which Vedanta is very slowly and unknowingly percolating into some corners of the best literature, poetry, philosophy, and even the common mind of America that is important now. And yet, if one should look through a cross-section of American literature today, or look into educated minds, one would probably be unable to discover the Indian Vedanta. Industrialized, machine-minded, organization-loving, matter-of-fact America is developing its own culture. It may not mind having hints from the Indian Vedanta, but they must fit into its scheme of life and stand well on its indigenous foundation." Also view this other film, Vivekananda in America, made in 1993 by Dr. R. Chattopadhyaya. This film, Vivekananda in America, which is advertised here, has been made by visiting almost all the cities which Swamiji visited and where he lived and worked, combining it with photographs of people he met, and they have been visited and videos have been taken there, and the story of his life at each place has been told along with the pictures. And also I have also made Vivekananda in Europe on a similar strategy. Vivekananda in Europe and Vivekananda in America are also available, and these are the other movies made. Vedanta Societies you have already seen here, and the other series is this Indian Traveler in America in 3 parts, and this is the recently completed biography Swami Vivekananda in the West by Dr. Chattopadhyaya. Address for ordering.